10 a.m. Monday. Aren't there social workers or therapists who specialize in this sort of thing? Been there, done that. No results. I need someone like you who can come into the community and get actively involved. I need someone who will intervene. Curiouser and curiouser. When you said you wanted to buy my time, what did you mean? I assumed I would pay your hourly fee, whatever it is. I charge $800 a day. Jane hoped Paul Peavy didn't notice the flush that crept up her neck. She had never asked for that sum of money before. She had never asked for any money before when people had asked her to intervene. She was deeply skeptical about Peavy's offer, and hoped by naming the largest sum she dared, he would have second thoughts. He did not. Fine, fine. Peavy stood, leaning across the desk to shake her hand. 10 o'clock Monday, then? Let me check my calendar. I'll call to confirm later this afternoon. There was nothing on her calendar for Monday morning. Of that, Jane was certain. But she needed time to think Peavy's offer through. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you. Jane escorted the young man to the multi-paned glass door of the old porch and watched him head down the walk. My goodness, she said as he retreated. There's a new one. She glanced at the time on her phone and picked her pocketbook up off the desk. She didn't have time to consider the young man's proposition right away. She had to hot-foot it around the corner to Helen Graham's house, or she'd be late for bridge. And this man wants to pay you? Across the bridge table, Phyllis Goldstein arched an eyebrow at Jane. Wants to pay you for what? Helen Graham entered through her swinging kitchen door, posture perfect, her hair in the page boy she had worn since Jane had met her 39 years earlier. She placed a tray laden with a pitcher of cold tea, tall glasses filled with ice cubes, lemon wedges, and sweeteners on the sideboard in the living room. That's the rub, Jane answered. I'm not exactly certain for what. Something about a problem at Walden Spring, the over-55 community in Concord he's in charge of. So Paul did phone you. Irma Brittleston spoke from the vestibule inside Helen's front door. The windows and tiled floor in the tiny space added an echoey quality to her voice. She let herself in, as they all had. It was a ritual, no matter which of their homes they played in. The last to arrive was responsible for latching the door. Phoned and came by, Jane answered. Good. I'm glad he took my recommendation. Jane shifted her chair to face Irma. Why did you send him to me? Because, goodness, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Helen had returned from the kitchen with a plate of chocolate cookies, fresh from the oven, smelling like heaven. Let's play cards. The women sat. The cards were dealt. The day was warm, but happily the humidity was low, and a breeze moved through the sheer curtains in Helen's first-floor windows. News of the week in review, Phyllis said in another tradition as old as the game. Hostess first. Helen spoke, as she always did, about her husband Hugh and her children. Her older two were married, the parents of a brood of grandchildren. Helen's third child, Lizzie, was 30 and single. Lizzie's engagement to a most unsuitable man had been originally responsible for Jane's growing reputation as someone who could help out with problems that, while vexing or frightening, weren't appropriate for the police or other authorities. When Helen had described Lizzie's fiancé as dead behind the eyes, Jane, who had been a little at sea after her retirement, decided to investigate. It hadn't taken much to find his other two fiancés and his late mother living on the other side of Cambridge. Jane had been the one to warn him off, too, reasoning it was better that he break Lizzie's heart sooner rather than run her through the wood chipper later. Helen had been grateful, and she had talked. A lot. Jane's reputation had grown. All winter and spring, people had made their way down the flagstone walk to Jane's office. Jerry McLaughlin needed help switching from her hairdresser to the one in the next chair. During an unexpected absence, the other hairdresser had done Jerry's cut and color. The resulting hairdo had a bounce and shine that had added a bounce to Jerry's step as well. She'd urged her original hairdresser to recreate it, but without success. Every woman knew ending a relationship with the person who did your hair was fraught. It was a professional arrangement, one in which money was paid for skill and services.